record. 14th of June, Rabbi Furst, Parsha Shavua, Nasso with Rashi.
Hey, thank you. As you mentioned, this is Rabbi Shlomo Furst here. She was Rashi here in Yerushalayim Care Zoom. Erev Shabbos Parshas Nassoi, Erev Parshas Nassoi, Shana Toshin Pei. Okay, let's begin. We'll begin, if you direct your attention to chapter 7, Pasuk Aleph. We'll start with the first pasuk. That's
Chapter
Perek Zayin, Pasuk Aleph.
Zion, that's chapter 4, 5, 6, 7, and all 7 and all.
Take a look at, we'll read the pasuk really, and then we'll take a look at Rashi. Yeah.
7. You can't see 7. Oh, I've got 7, but I can't see all.
You found it there, Roy?
Yeah,
Chapter 7.
I've got 7, chapter 7, and Bait. Got Bait, but where's Olive? Oh, I've got it. So, do you want me to read it then, and Luke can do
Yeah, whoever you can read. You can read or you can switch off.
All right, that's okay. All right, that's Vayehi Biyom Kalos Moshe Lehakim Lehakim Es Meshkan V'yim Shach Atar V'yikdash also V'es Kol Kalov V'es Mizbeach V'es Kol Kalov V'yim Shochem V'yakodesh Asom, meaning it came to pass on the day that Moshe had finished raising the dwelling, and had anointed it and sanctified it, and all the vessels thereof, the altar and all the vessels thereof, and had anointed them and sanctified them. Do I say what happens then, or do you want to leave it at that? Or,
You can say, you can explain it if you like. Go ahead.
all right. Vayak Rivo, V'nis'i Yisrael, Rashi, Base, Avasom, Haim, Nassieh, Amatos, Haim, Amadim, Al Hapakodim. So when he had anointed all these things, that the princes of Israel, the heads of the houses of their fathers, who were the princes of the tribes, and over them that were numbered, offered. And then the next verses say what they offered.
Right, so that's going to come later. Now we're gonna take a look at the Rashi on the first verse number Aleph. which starts off the beginning, Vahi Biyom Kalos Moshe,
Might
the
we
Hakim Esemishka, on the day that Moshe completed erecting the Mishkan. So that's very intriguing, this statement. Take a look at the Rashi will explain some of the things behind this pasuk.
the word kalos is written defective without a vav after the lamed. The footnote 3. Just a moment. Footnote 3 says, our editions, however, have the word in its full form. Compare Nozis. Nozis. I've never heard that word before. Nozis, that name. Minchas Shi. Anyway, so the word is written defective, thus indicating that on the day that the tabernacle was erected, Israel was like a bride, Kala, who goes beneath the marriage canopy. Some references to compare. All right. The next phrase is that
That's one point. That you have to realize that, as Rashi points out here, the erecting of the Mishkan, the completion of the Mishkan, now, so to speak, brought to fruition a relationship between Klal Yisrael and Kadosh Baruch Hu, which is symbolized by the pasuk being lacking, that the word kolos is lacking the vav, as you mentioned. That's symbolizing the relationship of Kadosh Baruch Hu with Klal Yisrael at this point in time when the Mishkan was completed. Now symbolized that Klal Yisrael was like a kala coming into the chuppah.
just a minute. Beyond Kalios. Talking about a third word in Aleph.
What kind of word?
We're talking about the third word. That's one first word. Beyond, second word, and then kalos.
Right. So the Mishkan is considered like the chuppah, and Klal Yisrael is considered to be like the bride.
Right. So, sorry, Lou, I'm holding you on.
So let's think about that. How can we understand that with the erection of the Mishkan, which, by the way, didn't take place till over a year after Har Sinai, meaning the given Torah of Har Sinai.
Rising, dwelling, the anointed sanctuary.
Mishkan is the place where the Shekhinah is, right?
All right.
With the completion of the Mishkan, so now there was a place for the Shekhinah to reside. And the Mishkan is now like the Chuppah. Klal Yisrael is like the bride, coming to partake of the benefits and the relationship to the Shekhinah.
Right. So in that year, what happening? Moshe Rabbeinu was erecting the Mishkan.
So let's maybe that's a good thing. Let's try and make it some type of a timeline for ourselves, because actually we're in the middle of that timeline right now ourselves. That 2 days ago was Shavuos, which corresponds to the giving of the Torah to Klal Yisrael. And historical, with great fanfare and demonstration of his glory, gave the Torah to Klal Yisrael. So Moshe Rabbeinu ascended to our Sinai and stayed there for 40 days to be taught the Torah by Kadosh Baruch Hu. And 40 days hence from Shavuos until Yud Zayin Tammuz, Moshe Rabbeinu was there in the Har, being taught Torah by Kadosh Baruch Hu, and descended from the Har 40 days later, 40th day later, with the Luchos. Time. Klal Yisrael had sinned by the death of the Egel. Moshe Rabbeinu, on its descent from Har Sinai, broke the Luchos and then ascended back to Har Sinai to pray for the benefit of Klal Yisrael to be saved from Kadosh Baruch Hu's judgments. Kadosh Baruch Hu, at the end of those second 40 days, which occurred on Rosh Chodesh Elul, the second 40 days came to an end on Rosh Chodesh Elul. So, for example, now we're 80 days minus 2, meaning 78 days we are away from Rosh Chodesh Elul. And how many days are we away from Yom Kippur? You can also know that very easily.
Another
Where
10 days after that.
another 40 days. Moshe Rabbeinu on Rosh Chodesh Elul was told by Hashem to ascend to Har Sinai a third time to receive the Luchos Shnis. And the third set of 40 days came to an end on Yom Kippur. So from Shavuos to Yom Kippur, there is 120 days. The first 40 days ending on Yud Zayin B'Tammuz, which represented the Chet Egel and the breaking of the Luchos. The 40 days of the second set came to an end on Rosh Chodesh Elul. And at that time, Moshe Rabbeinu was told to come up again for the third and final time to the Har Sinai to receive the second Luchos, and he descended with the second Luchos on Yom Kippur. So we are 120 days minus 2, meaning 118 days away from Yom Kippur. So if you were interested and involved with counting the Omer, the 50 days between Pesach and Shavuos, you can start counting your own private counting between now and Yom Kippur. And today's 118th day to the Yom Kippur.
Tomorrow, what? Tonight will be then 117.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe so. Maybe 1 or 2 days inaccuracy there, depending. But that's generally a correct figure. But you don't make any brach. If you want to count from now till Yom Kippur, don't count with any brach.
Mhm. All right. So, yeah,
So
sorry.
when Moshe Rabbeinu descended with the second Lucas on Yom Kippur, so the next day, if I'm not mistaken, the next day, HaKadosh Baruch gave Moshe Rabbeinu the command to build the Mishkan. To build the Mishkan. Now, that command was given, I think, the day after Yom Kippur, Yud Aleph of Tishrei, and the Mishkan was completed, meaning all the parts and components, Keli, the Mizbeach, the Menorah, the Shulchan, the Aron, well, the curtains, all those things were completed, if I'm not mistaken, on Chaf Hey Kislev. Chaf Hey Kislev. How do I know that? Not because I'm such a historian of any sorts, but happens to be brought down by the Ramah in Shulchan Aruch in Hilchas Hanukkah. I'll just reference that if you like. I'll show you. In Hilchas Hanukkah. Excuse me.
The 25th of Kislev comes. Da 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 with the beating drums.
How else does that go? That goes, yeah, tell me some more. Tell me some more.
Nothing more to tell.
Oh, that's it. Okay, very good. Okay. Right. That right. The Ramah in Siman Taf Reish Ayin in Orach Chaim Sif Beis says there that there's a whole question about whether or not our Hanukkah parties, as we're so very familiar with the wonderful Hanukkah parties which we have on Hanukkah, whether there's a mitzvah to make a Hanukkah party, a mitzvah to go to a Hanukkah party. So the Ramah adds those parties that we make on Hanukkah, there's a Katzatz mitzvah, because in those days the Mishkan, there was the Hanukkah Samizbeach. And there the Mishnah Berurah explains that on the 25th of Kislev, the work that was necessary to build the Mishkan came to an end. And even though it could have been at that time the Mishkan erected, Kadosh Baruch Hu had Klal Yisrael wait until Nisan, until Rosh Chodesh Nisan, to erect the Mishkan. And that's what we're talking about here. This day, the Yom HaKolos, Moshe would be apparently the Rosh Chodesh Nisan. So there you were. And so that's like almost a year and almost 2 years. Almost 2 years after the giving of the Torah to Klal Yisrael. 1 minute.
The Torah.
No, I'm sorry. Almost 1 year. Almost 1 year after the giving of the Torah to Klal Yisrael.
Mhm. All right now. So,
Let's continue with our Rashi.
uh, so what's that's 3, is it? Rashi on verse 3. Oh, verse 3. Ah. It's verse 2. So where the Rashi, oh no, it's no, we're on verse 2. Haim Nasi Hamatos. They were the princes of the tribes. Right.
Right. So now, once we want to do the rest of the Rashis. We're still in the middle of the Rashis. I'm sorry.
Oh, right. Okay. So let's see. So I think if you don't mind, I'll read from the beginning again because it's not very far and we get lost with what's happening.
Yeah, thank you. That's fine. That's very good. Very good.
And it came to pass on the day that Moshe had finished raising the tabernacle. So the word kalos was defective, indicating that the day that the tabernacle was erected, Israel was like a bride who goes beneath the marriage chuppah. Then the next thing is kalos Moshe. Moshe had finished. Bezalel and Ohaliah. What's his name?
Ohaliah.
Ohaliah. And all the wise-hearted men made the tabernacle. But
So that should, I think you should read that as a question. I think that's Rashi asking a question here, right?
All right. Well, I haven't got it as a question, but okay. But I want to say, so it says Moshe had finished. That's the phrase, and this is Rashi on that. Bezalel and Oholiab and all the wise-hearted men made the tabernacle. You want to put it that way? But Scripture attributed to Moshe, described it as his work, because he devoted himself wholeheartedly to it, to see that the shape of each article is exactly as Hashem had shown him on the mountain, to show the workman how it should be made. Nor did he err in a single shape. A similar thing do we find in the case of David, because he devoted himself to the building of the holy temple, as it is said in one of the Tehillim. The Lord remembered David in all his affliction, how he swore unto the Lord, I will not give sleep to mine eyes until I find out a place for the Lord. Therefore it is called by his name, as it is said in Kings, now see thine own house, David.
So how did David get into this? We'll say, how did David get into this?
Seems like it's comparing the devotion of David to the devotion of Moshe. Yeah, we come up, when
Right. And David Melech was Moshe Nasso. He overextended himself for the building of the base of Mikdash. Right? But David himself did not build the base of Mikdash. He did
No.
it. Everything was his son Shlomo Melech built the base of Mikdash, but it's attributed to David. We say that at the very beginning of Pesukei Zimra. You ever notice what we say in is Moshe Hanukkah Sabayis LeDavid?
All right. Yes.
So if you might, some of the Mefarshim point out this point that why is it said? This is the opening line of our Pesukei Zimra. Mizmor Shir Hanukkah Sabayis LeDavid. Hanukkah Sabayis. That's a reference to the base of Mikdash. So why is it referring to David? David did not build the base of Mikdash. It was his son Shlomo who built the base of Mikdash. So the answer is, as Rashi explains here likewise, David Melech was Moser Nefesh. He did everything possible that he could possibly do. He was not able to build the base of Mikdash for various different reasons. But nevertheless, that did not stop him from doing what he could possibly do to assist in the building of the base of Mikdash to its full extent, even though he would not be able to build it himself. So here, apparently, there's the standard limud that we learned from this, that you see a person is going to put forth efforts to do something, and even though he doesn't successfully do what he set out to do, but he puts out his full efforts, he'll be attributed as if he did it. But I think we see something a little even deeper than that. In a case where a person knows he is not going to be able to fulfill his wish to do something, and nevertheless he extends himself fully and absolutely, that's a very high level. Right? You have many people, many situations, they'll try their hardest to do something, but whatever reason, for good or for better, they won't be able to fulfill their desire of doing something. But they put themselves out 100%. That's what I would say is normal. But a person who knows he's not going to be able to do something, but nevertheless he extends himself completely and absolutely to do his absolute best and most to do what he cannot do, that's unusual. That's something special. So there you saw that with David, and you saw that with Moshe Rabbeinu here as well, apparently. And that's why it's attributed to David the Hanukkah Sabayis LeDavid and Yom Shehakim Moshe the Mishkan.
We have
because they were doing. Yeah, go ahead.
No, sorry.
Because they were doing the absolute utmost, in spite of the fact that they would not eventually be allowed to do what they were setting out to try and do, which is highly unique and unusual.
We see this actually with parents and children and supporting Torah scholars. You can't do it yourself, but you do it the best you can to support a scholar or whatever, something like that. Or your children are doing something much, better, you can't do what your children are doing, but you can help them do it. And you put yourself out for it. You know you're not going to be able to do it, but whatever it is. We have that sort of concept, maybe in a more minor way, but it's still there.
Right, right, very good. That's true. I like that comparison. Okay, thank you. Very good. Oh, okay. Let's continue on with the Rashi. Did we finish the whole Rashi completely? I think we did, no?
No. No, nearly though. Right, so Lord remembered David and all his affliction, and therefore he called it by his name, as you said. Now see thine own house, David. Now, and it came to pass, this is the next phrase, now it came to pass on the day that Moshe had finished setting up the tabernacle. And Rashi comments, but it is not said on the day Moshe set up. This, the phrase had finished setting up, teaches us that during each of the 7 days of installation, where does that come from? Moshe used to erect and dismantle a gate. Dismantle the tabernacle, but on the day, the 8th day, he erected it, but did not again dismantle it. For this reason, as he said, on the day that Moshe finished setting up, that is, on the day his several erections of it came to an end. And it was the new moon, the first day of Nisan.
Oh, there we are. Very good.
Right? Compare Rashi on Leviticus 9:1 on the note there. On the second, the red heifer was burned. On the 3rd day, the Levites were sprinkled for the first time with the water in which its ashes was mingled. The red heifer's ashes were mingled. And on the 7th day, after having been again sprinkled, they shaved their bodies and were ready to enter on their duties.
So that was on which day? It was the seventh day?
Yes, and on the 7th day, after having been again sprinkled, they were shaved their bodies and were ready to get on with their duties, to start their new duties.
Right. So that's don't forget, you should reference this. That's the day that Korach started up with Moshe Rabbeinu, apparently. Yeah.
I don't know. The Korach is coming along in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Because Korach started up because he was not so happy having to be shaved. His wife did not recognize him. Yeah.
Mm.
That was a part of his downfall.
Mm.
His wife was a troublemaker.
Right.
She made a lot of trouble, right? That's all right. Okay.
there
Very
was,
good. Yes.
there was a news item about this wanted man who was a murderer in New York. Just he was apprehended yesterday, I think. But he disguised. Oh no, I'm sorry. That was. Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah, and he had it was a youngish bloke. He had a black beard and moustache and hair. So what he did was he completely shaved himself, and he did some other things to his face or something, and you could walk right past him and wouldn't know it was him. That's what the police.
That's
So,
right. That's what happened to Korach also.
mm,
We'll discuss. Bleed will discuss more about that when we get to Parsha's Korach. Very good. Okay, let's continue on.
all right, so that's the end of one of what do you call it? Posuk 1 with the Rashis, and now Posuk 2, and what Rashi has to say. He has a lot to say. There's an awful lot to say. Yes. 2. All right. Well, there's 3. I go, no, it's not that much. All right. So number 2, Posuk 2. Haim in this Nasia, I think. What's that? Tus, is that right? I don't know. They were the princes of the tribes. So this is what Rashi has to say on that. That is, who had been the officers over them in Egypt?
Oh, right.
Who had been the officers over them in Egypt and had been beaten on their account, and had therefore received the privilege of becoming princes of the tribes, as it is said in Exodus 5:14, and see the Rashi on that. And the officers of the children of Israel were beaten. Sifrei.
So that's because see, we're talking about this is connected to what we referred to for Mesiris Nefesh, right? I mean, in a certain way, they didn't have to allow themselves to be beaten, right? In Mitzrayim by the Egyptians, but they took the brunt of the wrath of the Egyptians' frustrations over the fact that they had to deal with these Jewish slaves. So the Jews that were the heads of the Jews, they were responsible, and they took the brunt of the wrath of the Egyptians' frustrations, and they allowed themselves to be beaten. No easy thing, no easy task. But because of that, Hashem rewarded them.
And then all right, next phrase, something, or I'll read it. They were those who had stood by at the numbering, that is, who stood together with Moshe and Aaron when these numbered the Israelites, as it is said in 1:4, and with you there shall be a man of every tribe. The footnote here says The events here described took place on the new moon of Nisan. The evening the census alluded to by Rashi was taken, however, on the new moon of the following year. And yet, according to Rashi, this verse signifies, and the princes of Israel, those who had stood with Moshe and Aaron at the census, now offered. Possibly he means that the text signifies nothing more than the following. And the princes of Israel offered. They are the same whom I've already mentioned in the first chapters, having been present with Moshe and Aaron at the census. Compare Rashbam on these words.
Okay, very good.
So, yeah, okay.
Now, I just want to ask you again, what did he mentioned about Eor, the months of Eor?
Yeah. The census alluded to by Rashi was taken, however, I'll read it before that. The events having described took place on the new moon of Nisan.
Oh, right, very good,
Census,
correct.
the census alluded to by Rashi was taken, however, on the new moon of the following year.
Okay, okay, okay. Right, good. Okay, let's continue on.
All right, so now verse 3.
Yes.
Verse Gimel. V'yoviu es korbanon lifnei Hashem sheish agalos som ushanei also b'kol agala al shana shanai Hagashim Vashor Echad Vayakrehu Elsom Lifnei Hamishkan. And they brought their offering before the Eternal, 6 covered wagons and 12 of the herd, a wagon for 2 of the princes, and for each one of the herd. And they brought them before the dwelling. Daled, V'yomer Hashem el Moshe Lamor. And the Eternal spoke to Moshe, saying, Kach mi'atom v'hiu la'avod es avaros ohel moed v'nisa to al-som il halavim ish kafi Avrasor. And the Eternal spoke to Moshe, saying, Take it of them, that they may be to serve the service of the appointed tent, and thou shalt give them unto the Levites and to every man according to his service. I don't know what they're talking about here. They brought their offerings before Hashem, and 6 covered wagons, and 12 of the herd, and a wagon for each of the princes, and for each one of the herd, and they brought them before the dwelling. They brought them all before the Mishkan, I suppose. And the Eternal spoke to Moshe, saying, take it of them that they may be to serve service of the appointed tent, and give them to the Levites. Give what to the Levites? All the presents, all the offerings.
Orphans, perhaps, yes.
Given to every man according to his service. And all right. That probably, does that mean how well he served, how long he served, which wouldn't be long? Or does it mean according to what he was doing, what he had to do? That's when he gets a commensurate present, I suppose, to match what he's doing.
I think it's the actual partaking of doing the avoda.
Okay. 6. Go. No, not 6. What am I up to? Kach. Yeah, all right. Go. Vayikach Moshe el Hagala. Vayish Vayish Habokah. Vayitain el Som el Halavim. That was 5. Okay, we said that. Now 6. Ace, Shatay, Golos, the Ace, Ace, Habakor, Nosain, Livanay, Garashon, Bafi, Avodoson. And Moshe took the wagons and the oxen and gave them to the Levites. The Ace, Galos, the Ace, Shemanes, Avokor, Nosan, Livanay, Marari, the fee of the son, the yad, Soma, Ben, Acharon, the 2 were, and Moshe took the wagons and the oxen and gave them unto the Levites. 2 wagons and 4 of the herd he gave unto the sons of Gershon, according to their service, and 4 wagons and 8 of the herd he gave to the sons of Merari, according to their service, and under the hand of Itamar and the sons of Aaron the priest.
We distributed all the gifts.
Yeah. All right. That's the Livnei Korach Lo Nosen Ki Avodas Kodesh Elohim because safe Yeshua. But unto the sons of Korah he gave none, because the service of the holiness was incumbent upon them. They should hear upon their shoulder. They should bear upon their shoulders. So it doesn't mean that the Korach and his family that this is what they're supposed to do. But
Yeah.
the other ones did a bit extra.
Yeah, the Nicaeum, they offered extra. That's correct.
Oh. All right. And
Hmm.
all right, that just about finishes it up.
Think so. Very good. Thank you, Roy.
All right.
That's very nice. Thank you. Appreciate that. Lou, have a good Erev Shabbos, and Roy, you have a good Erev Shabbos as well. And
Thank you.
hope to see you
Shkoyach,
both
Roy.
next week.
Thank you. See you
It's a
shortly.
shame.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you, Lou. Thank you, Roy. Be well. Have a good Erev
You
Shabbos.
too. Bye for now.
Okay,
See you next week. Shalom. Shalom. Bye.
Bye-bye.
You